Good morning, everyone. We get to start this beautiful morning singing together. If you'd like to get your teal hymnals ready, we're going to be singing number 1014, but we're going to change the words just a little in efforts to always be most inclusive. Instead of singing the more ableist line, Standing on the Side of Love, we are going to sing Answering the Call of Love. So if you would rise as you are willing and able in body and spirit. Again, it is number 1014, Answering the Call of Love.
Good morning. Welcome to the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Happy Father's Day, happy Pride, happy Juneteenth. Welcome to this complex Sunday of celebrations, and we will touch on all of them today. I'm the Reverend Lydia Ferrante Roseberry, and I'm joined today by Service Associates Paolo Sparti and Karen Griglak. Our music director, Tad Coriath, Emily Coriath, and Mary Stagpole have already begun providing beautiful music for us. And we have an excellent tech team today, Bill Beachley, Boone Kowalchuk, and Deborah Mensch, who is on Zoom today. And of course, all of you are what make this beloved community. Welcome to those of you on Zoom as well.
As I say the welcome words today, I invite you to look around your Zoom screens or this room at the beauty of the gathered community. You are welcome here today. In all the beauty of the languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, sizes, abilities, and challenges that come together in your uniqueness, you are welcome here today. In all the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the ways you make your living and the places you are from, you are welcome here. With all the traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here today. No matter how long you are away, nor how soon you will return, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears, you are welcome here. Whether you come, excuse me, you are invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. We welcome you today. We acknowledge that the land surrounding us is the stolen territory of the Arapaho people, and that many tribes roamed freely on this land for millennia before the arrival of white settlers. We commit ourselves to being a center for spiritual exploration and justice making, and to anti-racism and anti-oppression work within and beyond our congregation.
If you are new here, we are glad you found us and hope that you can experience the love and warmth of this congregation, whether you are here in the sanctuary or sitting in your living room. Each Sunday is different here, so please come back a few times to really get to know us. We have many opportunities during the week for social connection and spiritual growth and justice making. Those on Zoom, you can check out the links that are going into the chat right now. And those of you who are in person, if you're new, there's a QR code in the back of the hymnal, which you can click on and it'll send you to new member information, or you can go to the welcome table as well. Finally, if there's anybody who's visiting on Zoom and you'd like to introduce yourself in the chat, please do so. Just write your name and where you're from. And anybody here in the sanctuary, if you'd like to introduce yourself, you are welcome to do so, telling us your name and where you're from. I'm going to ask you to do it in the microphone so our Zoomies can hear you as well.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Chifolo. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am here representing the Boulder County Area Agency on Aging, where I'm our LGBTQ+ program specialist. And we're really excited to represent today because we are the recipients of the half plate offering. So thank you very much.
Welcome.
Hello, my name is Brian Simpson, and I'm here as a friend of Katie's. And thank you so much for making me feel welcome here. Thank you.
Welcome, Brian. Kelly.
Hi, I'm Kelly Martindale, she, her pronouns, and I'm here with Together Colorado, so this chunk of the room knows me well.
Welcome, Kelly. Anyone else here this morning? Okay. Everyone is welcome to stay for coffee hour after the service. Zoomies can stay on Zoom and chat. And roomies, you're welcome to stay here for a special presentation by Together Colorado or go into the sanctuary. We are hoping everybody will keep, masks are required in here, and we're really recommending people keep your masks on inside since we're at a high transmission time, and just enjoy your coffee outside. If you have a chalice at home, you can light it with me as we light our fellowship chalice. And in the chat, you can write where your chalice is lit. And the rest of us, please say your words, say the words along with me as Karen lights our chalice. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, or in the energy of action. And now I'll sing our bowl again, inviting it to draw us deeper into the present moment and the company of this beloved community. Ah, Father's Day, or Mother's Day for that matter. These holidays seemed so simple when I was a kid. Or maybe we just pretended it was simpler by not acknowledging and honoring the real complexity and diversity of our human species. It wasn't until my 20s that I met my first lesbian moms, who opened me up to a whole new possibility of ways of things to explore. I was well into my 30s before I knew any transgender parents or gay dads. And now, in my 50s, I find that we are in a glorious world of out, non-binary gender identities and polyamorous relationships. As a younger person, I can remember feeling challenged with each new shift, as if another person's embodied living was somehow a threat to my identity. And I'm really learning to shift that for myself. And so today I'm just grateful for all these opportunities for authentic living that enable me to also think about how I want to live most authentically. So what are we now to make of Mother's Day and Father's Day? Clearly they were created with noble intent, but they were created by and for a cisgendered, binary, heteronormative world, which I might add always left people out, because there have always been queer and non-binary people. So we could scrap these holidays all together and just move on with a Parents' Day, and there actually is one in July that Bill Clinton put into office, commemorated. But living in this world of expanding gender identities and sexualities doesn't mean that we need to nix the gender-specific, archetypical roles and celebration of father and mother any more than we would deny someone their cisgendered male or female identity. We don't have to throw it all away. There is power in these identities, and it can be a good power that balances the yin and yang of human needs for nurturance and protection. So what we're called to do as Unitarian Universalists in these more complex times is to honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person and draw our circle wider. Include people in, rather than making it feel like some sort of a zero-sum game. Make room for new understandings of what fatherhood and motherhood can mean. So today we'll focus on fatherhood, expanding our concepts of what might be the typical dad. And perhaps in so doing, everyone will experience more freedom.
We get to sing together and draw the circle wider in song. So the next piece we will sing together is called Draw the Circle Wide. The lyrics, I believe, will be going up on a slide, but it's pretty simple, 2 different pieces. You can follow along. I will sing through it once first, and then you can all join me. So please rise in body or spirit as you are willing and able. Draw the circle wide.
kind of hate to go after that. My love of sci-fi and fantasy began when I was 5 years old. I was getting over a very bad case of chickenpox, and I had not let anyone touch my waist-length hair for 2 weeks, 'cause it itched. Oh, did it itch. My mom was ready to just cut it all off. And my dad decided that he would give it a try and see if it could be salvaged. So over the next 4 hours of a Star Trek marathon on TV, he worked to get all of the knots out of the disaster that was my hair. My father introduced me to Star Trek, Buck Rogers, and Galactica. And as I got older, I asked him what the appeal was for him, and you'll understand this question later. His reply was that it gave him some hope that humans might not screw all of this up, and that there's so much wonder to discover that we have absolutely no idea about yet. And he sort of treated me the same way. He taught me that I am a wonder and that both I and my feelings are valid. If I was scared to do something, he'd tell me that's fine. Breathe through it. Figure out what it is that I'm actually scared of and not what I think I'm scared of. And then my dad would put on his figurative cheerleading outfit and tell me that I can do it because he knows me and he knows that I can accomplish almost anything. And while some parents tell us to buck up and just do it because you're supposed to, he made me feel like I could do it because I'm me and I'm capable. My dad, who owned a construction company and loved Star Trek, was the man who accidentally taught me more curse words than I will ever say out loud. He is the guy who spent 4 hours combing out my hair, pushing me on swings, and going to the beach, even though he hates sand. He is the man who taught me to teach myself trigonometry, and he showed up to all my plays. Now, the funny thing is, I was crew. I was in all black. And the only way that you knew that I was there is that furniture would magically appear in between scenes. The guy who lives in the uniform of a plaid short-sleeve shirt, blue jeans, and hiking boots taught me about nature, its cycles, and to better appreciate it. He took time and he taught me patience by teaching me how to shoot a bow, which got me to slow down, meditate, breathe, and calm a busy mind. He often checks in with me to find out where my head is. This nature-y, construction-working guy is also the same man who cried when he first saw me in my wedding dress the day of my wedding. Many of the things that he does one would think of as stereotypical mothering behaviors. But to me, he's just dad. One thing does hold true, though. Unless you want scrambled eggs or grilled cheese sandwiches, my dad can't cook.
I imagine that somewhere there are dads it isn't that hard to find a Father's Day gift for. But since 1997, getting one for my dad has been nothing but a struggle. See, up to this point, he wore a shirt and tie to the office every day. But then we were actually on a vacation out here to Steamboat Springs when we got a call that a water main had broke in his office, which meant the entire thing flooded. And when we went to rebuild, OSHA stepped in and said, you have to update some things. One of those things was that he had to wear scrubs every day. There went his tie collection. The problem is, my dad isn't the dad Father's Day seems to be built for. He's an excellent father and often fits a pretty traditional male role. He was our primary breadwinner, worked in a field dominated by men, and gave wise counsel. But he doesn't drink, no whiskey stones, doesn't smoke, no cigars, doesn't golf, no clubs, not big into any sports, can't get him any fan gear, not into music much either, so no t-shirts or albums or tickets. And honestly, he thinks a wrench is attached to somebody else. No Home Depot gift cards here. And the hobbies he does have are expensive. He collects coins, and when I was younger, he liked to collect autographs and casino chips. The trouble is, there isn't anything I could ever buy him that he hasn't long since bought himself. His idea of cheap and mine are totally different levels. My solution for this was quality time. Handwritten letters, and here and there a gift I thought might be fitting. But when I moved 1,400 miles away, the quality time got a bit harder. But I make a point to call and chat often. The gifts I'm notorious about sending late, but I hope he knows how great he is as a dad. And as it turns out, my family is kind of full of different sorts of dads. My brother, for instance, is a stay-at-home dad. He has cared for and homeschooled his 3 children for 12 years. They are some of the most intelligent, thoughtful, and amazing people that I know. Yet every time his wife goes out of town, my mother and stepmother step in and make schedules about how they're going to go help him because he can't possibly do it alone. I'm fairly certain he doesn't mind the help, so just allows this charade to go on. Then there's me. I've wanted to become a dad for a long time. I spent 6 years trying with my ex before treatment became unaffordable and my transition became overwhelming, or my need to transition became overwhelming. The sort of irony in that is that I became the stable, thoughtful person I wanted to be as a parent while on testosterone. And I wasn't while I was running on estrogen and progesterone. Right now, fatherhood is a bit far off for me. Excuse me. But whether I'm a birth-giving dad, team up with a gestational carrier, or have the opportunity to create a family through adoption, I would be a dad. The fact that I arrive at it by an unusual route doesn't change that.
So now let's add the history of racism into our fatherhood narratives. Historians tell a complex story of how race and fatherhood in particular have intersected. On June 19th, 1865, Juneteenth, when black enslaved people in Galveston were finally freed, former slaves set out to reunite with family members, wives, husbands, sons, daughters, uncles, aunts, grandparents. They'd all been torn away from each other by slave owners and traders. The brutality of chattel slavery meant enslaved families were forcibly separated for profit or for a host of other reasons. To settle a debt, to divide an estate, to punish an unruly slave, or simply at the owner's whim. According to the Equal Justice Initiative, roughly half of all enslaved people were separated from their spouses and parents, and about 1/4 of those who were sold were children. The formerly enslaved people's will to search for their families exemplified what is one of the most important personal expressions of their freedom, and it extended over many, many years. You may have seen or actually heard some of the stories. There would be little things in the newspaper that said, "Searching for a slave named Maddie," my son, my daughter. San Jose University historian Libra Hilde wrote about the complexity of fatherhood in the black community during enslavement and afterwards. Contrary to misconceptions about the missing father and the female matriarch, enslaved and freed black men played a vital role in black family life and in their communities, despite all the social and economic barriers that were erected by the dominant society. Hilde writes about this complexity. She talked about how enslaved fathers faced agonizing contradictions. To be an involved and nurturing father was a form of resistance in slave times. And it was simultaneously both humanizing to be connected to your family and dehumanizing, because fatherhood imbued men with some sense of authority, and yet it was severely limited by slavery. And yet fatherhood also gave slaveholders an increased leverage over their men. Fathers faced intractable dilemmas. To stand up for themselves or their loved ones was to risk being removed from their family and cause their family even more hardship. African Americans articulated this conception of paternal duty from the antebellum period through the 1930s, because they faced consistent and ongoing challenges that did not end with emancipation. Slavery and Jim Crow created the same thing for black men. They placed them with this masculinity and sense of duty to family in opposition. As a result, many enslaved and then free black men found alternative, indirect, and concealed way to support their kin, often channeling their leadership through authorities like religious leadership. Jonathan Briggs is a current author now. He writes a blog, and he says his favorite hashtag is hashtag Black Father Magic. And he writes a lot about black fatherhood, and he summed up this history like this. He said, the challenges faced by black men after the Civil War are the same faced by black Americans today. Disproportionate impoverishment, premature death, incarceration, and structural racism that cripples the collective pursuit of happiness. In this regard, What it meant to be a newly freed black man and a father in 1865 mirrors what it means to be a black man and a father today. Providing for and protecting family, nurturing your children's sense of worth and dignity, defying stereotypes, resisting oppression, keeping the faith, and recognizing with the understanding that Smithsonian Institute Secretary Lonnie Bunch observed that emancipation is a process that is still unfolding, not simply a day or a moment of jubilee. When I think about what that means for black men and the stereotypes we have about them and the hardships and the obstacles that they traverse every day, my heart is saddened. And I want us to be able to draw that circle wider so that that pursuit of happiness, that desire to protect our families and not be scared of being incarcerated, separated from your families because of it, that's available to everyone. So let's make this Father's Day a part of an emancipation that frees everyone, ourselves included, from whatever bonds minimize our full humanity. May it be so.
Each week, we remind ourselves of the abundance that we have in our lives and this community by giving half of our plate away to those organizations that share our values. This week, the half plate is for Boulder County Area Agency on Aging LGBTQ+, and its volunteer program, Rainbow Connections. And this was nominated by Donna Somani. The Rainbow Connections volunteer program supports LGBTQ older adults, 60+, who are experiencing social isolation. Both LGBTQ+ and allied volunteers are matched with recipients to provide regular contact in the form of in-person visits, online meetings, phone calls, texts, and/or emails. In the 3 years of the program's existence, 8 volunteers have provided 456 contacts to 7 recipients, totaling 916 hours of connection and community. Our fellowship members have helped volunteer and receive care, and our support of this organization affirms our commitment to honoring the inherent worth and dignity of each person. You can text your donation at the number on the screen, or if you're at the fellowship today, you can also place your donation into the offering plate as it passes. Please give generously as you so often do. And as our musical reflection begins, we invite you to consider the following question. And if you're on Zoom and you want to share, write your answer into the chat, your answer to this. Who has been a fatherly figure to you? for the work of this fellowship, bringing love, reason, compassion, and justice to this world, and for the Rainbow Connections, we dedicate our offerings.
Now I invite us into our time of community connection, our time of sacred sharing. If you're on Zoom and you'd like to share a joy or a concern, you can type it in the chat window, sending it to everyone, and then I'll read them off, and then Paolo will put a stone into our waters on your behalf. And if you're in the sanctuary today, just come up front here on the left side of Paolo and share your joy and concern and add a stone in the waters. You can always just come up and put a stone in silence if you'd like as well. And I have 3 last stones for you, Paolo. A stone for the people of the Ukraine who struggle to keep their country and their sovereignty and are just facing horrific wartime challenges. And a stone for all the floods in Wyoming and Montana and the challenge of these much larger climate events that we're experiencing. And I think not only the physicality of it, but also the existential fear that we have as humans around what is happening to our planet and our own responsibility and all the complexities of this climate crisis. And one last one for all the joys and concerns that remain in the silent sanctuary of our hearts, knowing that even in our silence, we are bound together in the web of life. Beloveds, praise be for fathers, the ones who wore ties, played golf, and drank beer, and the ones who don't. The ones who help their children tie their shoes, and the ones who are at the office till 8 p.m. every night. Praise be for all of those people who felt that provider energy in them, the protector, the one who was available when as a shoulder to cry on. So many different ways, and also so many ways those archetypical roles have fallen short in our own lives. Praise be for us and the tenderness we may have for the fathering we did not receive as we wished we had. Each of us walking with our images of who we might be in the world and how might people respond to us, and each of us falling short of both. Oh, to be human, and to be human together. To be human together in community where we can experience each other's shortcomings and love one another. Where we can learn to forgive and honor the many ways people show up in this world. Let us be those people that continually are drawing the circle wider, helping those who have felt like they were alone on the margins to know that they are welcome, that they are part of the human family. Mothers, fathers, children, all of us, one human family. May it be our promise and our prayer to be the ones to be this wide open. Amen.
One more chance for us to sing together this morning. We are going to sing number 1007 in your teal hymnal. There's a river flowing in my soul. Again, that's 1007. Please rise in body or spirit and join us.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul.
Thank you so much for such soulful music today. Really. I know, right? Aren't they awesome? I do have a few announcements today. You may have noticed that our youth coordinator, Kitty Kaler, is quite pregnant. So she will be on maternity leave before the end of the summer. And so today, the youth and some of the parents of youth are kind of, I think it's a surprise to her, have a little cake and some goodies for her. And so if you're in the fellowship hall, make sure you congratulate her. And then when we see her again, she will have her third child with her. So I also have a special announcement from Boulder Valley Community Action Network. They want to come up and share some very exciting news that they have.
BV Can, the Boulder Valley Community Action Network is BVUUF's community organizing group. BVCAN is working to make positive local systemic changes. BVCAN is a member of Together Colorado, a multi-race, multi-faith statewide organization spanning 220 congregations, schools, and faith leaders. Together Colorado has organized over the past 40 years on many issues, including housing, transforming criminal justice, immigration, healthcare, and climate justice. Several of the congregations in Boulder County have formed the Together Colorado Boulder County Organizing Group, which works alongside a faith leader caucus. We have held public meetings on our key issues of mental health and affordable housing.
After hearing stories of mental health concerns from within our congregation, we began organizing on this issue in 2015. Since then, we've had countless meetings with local officials and allies, participated in task forces, and held 6 large public meetings with moving testimonies from individuals about their mental health journeys. BVCAN has focused on ways to improve access to mental health services and lessen stigma so that people can live better, healthier lives with appropriate mental health care as needed. Advocates for mental health we've been advocates for mental health services so that people know where and how to find what they need. We've learned about mental health crisis response programs, especially within the context of racial justice. Since 2016, we have partnered with the County Community Mental Health Initiative. A member of BVCAN served on this executive committee, and we have the promise of progress evaluations after each year's work. In 2019, we learned that about the county's plan for mental health navigation hub, with staff to support it, including screening, referral, call lines, provider directory, support from law enforcement, crisis response, and online support. We monitored progress on this since it is very much like what BVCAN has advocated for a number of years. We continue to meet with all parties who have influence on mental health care delivery in Boulder County, while building partnerships with organizations like the NAACP and Interfaith Network on Mental Illness.
Last summer, when Boulder County announced it will receive $63 million in federal dollars to address impacts of the pandemic, we were ready. Our Together Colorado Boulder County Affordable Housing Team and East County Housing Opportunity Coalition announced recommendations for housing solutions at a July press conference. In November, BVCAN and the Together Colorado Boulder County Mental Health Team held a grassroots summit here to develop recommendations on mental health services. Our members secured seats on the county's working group to allocate these ARPA funds, attending many meetings while seeking input from our members and allies. On Tuesday, this week, we learned of a big victory. The commissioners approved 10 projects, along with funding for affordable housing projects, mobile home residents, child care vouchers, and grants to nonprofits. The awards include programs BVCAN has been advocating for years, as Rosemary reported. Yes. These include a community-wide navigation hub to provide a resource to support navigation and care coordination to appropriate mental and behavioral health services for all Boulder County community members. Community mobile response teams, which will be culturally responsive, not based in police, and coordinated across the county. And equitable access through grants to mental health-related community organizations, mental health vouchers, school-based services, and community training to reduce stigma.
We are excited at this great news, and we are proud of the role our organizing has played in making this happen. Thanks to all of you who have been part of the listening campaigns, public meetings, and organizing efforts. Together we have made a difference, but there is still much we have to do. We will now launch a new phase by listening to our congregation to learn what still needs to be addressed for mental health care and affordable housing. Please stay after the service for a 15-minute briefing, followed by a half-hour training by Together Colorado Boulder County friend and organizer Kelly Martindale. Hope you can stay and join us.
Thank you so much. I'm just so, it's one of the things that I feel most proud of in this congregation is our organizing work, especially around mental health, which has been so silenced. And the big change that's happened in the, how many ever years that is, 8 years you've been organizing, even in this congregation, about our capacity to speak to and about and support mental health. So, yay. So I hope many of you will stay because there's more information and we have this next step about how does this money get actually implemented. They've got the big buckets, how's it going to get implemented? And so that's their next charge, and I hope you'll stay for the presentation after the service. A couple other announcements. I'll be away this week from Monday through Friday at the General Assembly and Unitarian Universalist Ministers Association. Next Saturday, we have the memorial for Dick and Khaki Lehman. It's 1 p.m. here in our sanctuary. And we have a special Sunday, next Sunday. We're doing a watch party for the UU General Assembly. So come at 10 a.m. as usual. We'll do some of our usual congregational time, joys and concerns, the welcome, the things that bring us into community. And then together we'll watch the Unitarian Universalist service from 10:30 till 12, so plan on extra time. I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful service, and you'll be watching it with like another, 2,000 Unitarian Universalists. So we'll be the largest congregation of Unitarian Universalists around. So, and there'll be no coffee hour next Sunday because of that extended time. And I think that's it for the announcements. So now we'll extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. And may you go forward celebrating all the many things there are to celebrate in this life. Give a big thank you to someone who has been a father figure for you, and celebrate pride and celebrate emancipation in all the ways that it's being experienced these days. Blessed be. Amen.